But without further ado, let's begin. May I invite to speak for the motion first Shea Gopaul. Shea, you'll have 7 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Just look at the people in this room. Look at the people this morning speaking. Yesterday in the Ed Talks, amazing things are happening. How can we not be optimistic? But of course, negative press attracts the media, sells stories, but you may find it hard to believe, but we're actually doing very well. Let's just look at the history over the last 25, 30 years, and let's look at some of the numbers. Since 1990, childhood deaths have been cut in half. Childhood vaccines is the highest it's ever been, 86%. And the last 25 years, extreme poverty has been cut in half. Illiteracy has radically decreased in 2016 to 14%, whereas in 1980, it was at 44%. Life expectancy, disposable incomes are increasing, and one is less likely to be killed in a conflict. These are very promising trends. We're on a good track, and the future can only be better. But there are really 3 reasons why I think the future is going to be great. Number 1, it is going to be led by young people and women. Young people today are talking about the sharing, caring economy. How can we lose? Second, I'm optimistic because AI and big data will assist us in getting more informed, taking better choices, decisions, and having access to so many wonderful tools. And lastly, yes, there are many challenges, there are many problems, but we need to do this together, bringing the public and the private sector together to build partnerships to address such things as healthcare, climate change, and education. Girls, women, the data. 52 million more girls are in school in 2015 compared to 2010. 69% of girls worldwide completed primary education compared to 45% in 2010. The USAID study indicated that when 10% more girls go to school, a country's GDP increases by an average of 3%. When women have the same amount of land as men, there is over a 10% increase in crop yields. Female leaders use different leadership styles, but they also lead to higher organizational performance, clear expectations, rewards, people development, participative decision-making. Particularly with the rise of AI, most employers have identified that the most important element is not IQ, it is EQ, empathy, emotional intelligence. The young people today, of those born between 1981 and 1986, 62% want to work for a company that has a positive impact. Half prefer working for a purposeful company rather than getting a higher salary. 53% work harder if they can make a difference for others. How can we not be positive and optimistic? New technologies require innovative workers, but more importantly, collaborative, listening workers. It's not the what, it is the who and the how we use the technology. Technology can be the angel, not the devil. McKinsey estimates that online talent platforms alone are increasing and connecting young people to the right work. By 2025, $2.7 trillion can be added to GDP. Yes, some jobs are being abolished, but according to Accenture, what's more important is that the jobs are changing. And the challenge here is 35% of the skills that were required yesterday will change in the future. And with algorithms, even recruitment processes are being no longer biased by gender and disadvantage. Online platforms, what do I need to say? Just yesterday we saw so many amazing programs out there for Africa, Latin America, Asia, all over the world. Lastly, I'm optimistic because I see the public and the private realizing we have a problem and we need to come together. At the Global Apprenticeship Network, we are a coalition of companies and public sector groups and international organizations such as the International Labor Organization and OECD. 75 million youth are unemployed, and yet 40% of the employers are saying they can't find the correct talent and skills. What is needed is more driven employer education, apprenticeships, work readiness programs. Employers need to be part of the solution. And by the way, they will end up paying for some of this. Who better to teach us about the technology than those who have invented it? Again, let's bring the public and private around the table. Companies know that there is a war for talent, and companies are adapting to the changing desires and needs of young people, which is a positive thing. Ethical consumption, eco-friendly products, social impact funds, and better life-work balance. Change in policies, change in behaviors requires the voice, the time, the resources of all concerned youth and government and the private sector. Yes, 2030 will be a better place for all of us, including our planet.
Thank you.
I think I'd like to add to this is that what is happening in your country is inexcusable. Our leaders are failing us. There's no excuse. But I think with young people today, we're going to try to avoid what is happening in your country. And if there's just one sort of bright story, yesterday, there's a mobile app that is being developed for young people in refugee camps to learn to adapt when they come into new countries, to understand the new cultures, the new languages, and to pick up technical skills. That's a small drop in the water. But I'm sorry for what's happening, and there are some things we can control, but I'm hoping the future we will avoid such things. Maybe you should be wearing my glasses. I do think they're not all foggy. But your point, my esteemed colleague, about education figures. A Harvard study, if I may quote, from Pakistan says that they have done some research where they found in villages assigned to public-private partnership schemes, enrollment increased by 30% and the test scores improved. Parents are saying that they prefer that their daughters become teachers rather than housewives. Ghana, a regional leader in delivering education for all, 84% net enrollment rate, and they are reaching gender parity. Rwanda is one of the top performing countries in sub-Saharan Africa. I have many more stories. But you are right. Education needs disruption. And it's not going to be in the classrooms in Boston or in Florida. It's going to be online. We don't need to be sitting in front of a classroom with the teacher. We have technology, but what we do need is the grandmother, the teacher behind that child, patting them on the back, saying, good job. Continue. Access is there, and you will argue that not everybody in the world has access to the internet. True. But in Africa today, the mobile phone everyone has, you can get SMS, and you can receive programs and educational programs. There's an educational program by SMS for refugees today. And yes, migration is an issue, but guess what? Healthcare, according to the ILO, is going to be the biggest job creator. With aging populations, guess what? We need people to take care of us. In many countries, you have slow growth in population. The people from the south will need to migrate to the north, and guess what? With or without politicians, this is going to happen because we need these people. There are jobs out there. I was at the other night, the anniversary of Mauritius, 50 years of independence. And I was amazed. I was looking at this country sort of saying, and I was there 40 years ago, saying, what has happened? What has changed? 100% literacy, healthcare free, education free, 2% in every company of their CSR budget needs to go into education. Policies matter. Governments can take decisions. So there's healthcare free, there's education free, but in their constitution, there is no money for the military. Policies matter. Lastly, I would say, with innovation, we are going to become more efficient, and I think we are going to have a better quality of life. We're going to have more time for creativity, the arts, entertainment, the sharing, caring economy. And to my esteemed colleague who said it's about happiness, what could make you more happy than having more time with your children, your elderly parents, and your community, trying to make it a better world for all?